You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming. As you can see, we've got new content for Changeling Tale. It is the full 1.0 release, y'all. There's plenty of new content to get through, so what I am going to do is I'm going to make a separate playlist and label this as full release, and I'm going to start from scratch. So I'll get to experience all the new content that there is, and I'll also be making not safe for work videos for our Discord server. So, all right, y'all, this is going to be a full, this is going to be a full playthrough of all the content for Changeling Tale. So I get to experience everything again, which is really what I've been hoping for because I've been really enjoying this game. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. I believe we'll go with Jesse again. I'm gonna disable the adult content. Save that for the Discord server. Okay. All right, y'all, let's do it. Curious to see what they changed. A chill wind brushes my skin as I huddle against the trench wall. It's a sure sign that winter will soon be on us. I pull my legs in closer to brace myself against the cold, and my boots squelch loudly as they drag through the mud. A star flare arcs lazily across the sky. My thoughts drift to that first winter when I disembarked in France, wondering if the war would be over before I even made it to the front. Hardly. The heart of that enthusiastic boy may have died 4 years ago, but I live on. 4 years of living a nightmare. In many ways, tonight is no different. The distant thuds of shell fire and the occasional crack of a rifle shot piercing the air. The devil's lullaby. But the fire is sporadic and rote as dawn approaches. There is to be a ceasefire today, or so we are told. Rumors are circulating that it will go into effect across the whole front. Could the nightmare finally be coming to an end? I tell myself I should feel joy, relief, hope, something. But those feelings elude me. They're the lads of silence as well. Silence and emptiness. Is that all the future holds? No answers are carried on the whistling wind. My hand fumbles inside my soaked overcoat and produces a letter. I've read it a dozen times, and I read it again. Dearest Malcolm, it's with a heavy heart that I write to you. Just yesterday we received word that your beloved grandfather has passed on to the hands of our Heavenly Father. There may he rest finally in peace. Your grandmother assures us that she will be fine, but we know that whilst life on the farm is quiet, it is also full of duty. We fear she will be unable to make ends meet without assistance, particularly in these troubled times. She does not wish to be a burden, but Malcolm, please consider returning home to live in the country with your grandmother once your tour is completed. She would love you to the moon and back for it. Your mother and I think often of you. Be safe. Your proud father, ever, Bruce. Kurt as always. While the other boys get parcels from their families, I only receive the odd letter here and there. Yep. Alright. Oh. Posting packages taxes an already stretched budget, Mum and Pa said once they moved to the city. Getting to Craig and away from their small world was all he ever had wanted. Things seemed so much clearer then, when the war was fresh. Now, with the glimmer of the end in sight, the future is as muddy as this damn trench we call home. I try to imagine myself with discharge papers in hand, sailing back across the channel. Where am I headed? To the city? To vie for a factory job with all the other returning soldiers? To school to whittle my days away behind books I can't afford? Or after everything, am I really destined to spend my days back on the old family farm? I'm no clairvoyant. There's no vision of the future. Only a view of the same pockmarked parapet I've stared at for months. Resignation sets in. Really, what difference does it make? What's left to lose? My heart skips a beat. Dirt patters onto my helmet as if to rattle me out of my thoughts, and I curse myself for considering a future I may not yet live to see. My grip tightens on my rifle and I hunker down, counting the precious minutes until I can set the weapon aside for good. Once I knew he was returning, I was flooded with relief, and my life could begin again. And Malcolm was safe. That was all that mattered. He was alive. I could only hope he was unharmed, and that no further danger would ever come to him. Changeling Tale. Quite a beautiful game. Quite an achievement, too, for furry visual novels in general. Production values on this baby are sky high. Chapter 1. Homecoming. Almost home, Hazel. I leaned forward and pat my new companion as we trot along the ridge toward the village. It's been quite a long ride from Strathcurran, where I picked her up at auction. The mare offers a disapproving snort, as if to say this is clearly not her home. Home, that way the word in my mind. Is it truly my home anymore? I've trod up and down this road almost all my life, but it feels like it was ages ago. All around, the foothills roll musically, like lines in a songbook. I'd like to think I could still play a few notes on the flute my father whittled for me out of pine when I was still a wee lad. The memories are flooding back all right, but they feel disconnected, as if they are from someone else's life. Like sitting in the audience at a moving picture. Like, no. Still, I can't help but feel emotional from the familiar scenery. The bluebells and heather are in full bloom, though it is May and still the season of cold spells. It's almost enough to quell the memories of the desolate landscape I left behind. A fresh start and a clean slate. Maybe this can become home once again. Stag and Nanny. The sky is getting dark as we finally make our way into Achnacrig. The humble cluster of aging dwellings beckons us in, a cozy oasis in the raw landscape of the Highlands. As I navigate the well-trodden path, I realize that something feels off. The tiny village was never much for hustle and bustle outside of market day, but apart from the crunch of gravel under Hazel's hooves, the whole place is eerily silent and still. I shake my head. The war's touched here too, then. How many men would never return? Kitty! A black cat emerges from an alley and peers at us as if to punctuate the gloom. Gran used to say black cats were drawn by freshly departed souls, and I can't help but shiver. Hazel seems a little spooked too, but once we've trotted past, she relaxes back into a stroll. We round the bend and finally hear signs of life from the building ahead. The Stag and Nanny, of course, defiantly merry even in the toughest of times. My stomach rumbles, reminding me that I've not eaten since the single biscuit at the train stop this morning. A pint and a hearty stew would surely fill every craving inside me right now. The music and laughter are inviting. A short detour won't do any harm, will it? After all, it's been months since the letter. Surely Gran can wait a few more hours. I slide off Hazel and loop her reins tightly around a post. Tightly, because I'd quickly learned she's a sour girl. Almost petty in her erratic behaviour, and apparently why I received her at such a fair bid. She glares at me disapprovingly. Buck up. I'll be treating you well enough. It's just a quick stop, love. I'll be out in a jiff, and sober too. She huffs skeptically. Well, probably, mostly. As I open the door and clouds of smoke part, revealing a comfortable scene, God, how I'd missed it. It's a regular Wednesday night at the Stag and Nanny, the noise of tired, happy drunkards is music to my ears. Indeed, the barkeep is one of the loudest, mingling among his chums at the tables. Before I know it, a little sprite of a woman approaches me. Wispy tufts of brown hair peek out from under a large floppy hat. She smiles shyly at me and reaches out towards my arm. Welcome home, soldier. Oh, why, thank you. She blushes and her voice becomes quiet and drowned out by the commotion. So, how does it feel to be... I'm sorry? She blushes even harder and takes a deep breath. But before she can finish her thought, I'm grabbed by the barkeep. His handshake is firm and benevolent. Another one home. Good to see you, lad. And you, a sight for sore eyes and looking sharp as ever. Bulgaria pulls me in and gives me a hearty slap on the back. We're all right proud of you, my boy. It's good to have you back. It's a relief to be here. I mean it. All my worries have wafted away, mingling into the room's smoke-filled haze. Bulgaria steps back and studies me from head to toe. Feels like an officer's inspection, and instinctively my body snaps to attention. He nods. You were but a wee lad when I served you your first brew. Let me pour you another. A beer for a man. As Bulgaria heads to the bar, others gather around to congratulate and welcome me back. It dawns on me I am still in uniform, identifiable as a homecomer, a survivor. I spot similar welcomings throughout the bar, and I wonder who I might remember. I hadn't seen any of my friends since before the war. They separated most of the recruits from town into class regiments and scattered us leagues apart. There are a few recognizable faces, older gentlemen I know by looks, not by name, but most of the pub-goers are an elderly sort, absent of the lads my age with whom I'd raise a ruckus. I tell myself they are still overseas, waiting for their ticket home, but best not to dwell on the alternative. Come to think of it, I didn't recognize the brown-haired girl from town either. Wait, has she left already? My stomach rumbles again, reminding me why I came. I negotiate through the gauntlet of handshakes and backpats to an empty seat at the table. Before I know it, Bulgaria places a pint in front of me. A delectably flaky bridie appears soon after by a gentleman doffing his cap with his compliments. I could get used to this kind of treatment. Ravenous, I quickly down the pastry and the beverage. The heavy flavors cling to my throat. Deliciously comforting, it's good to be back. People around me are yammering about politics and work, weather and loved ones. I spot a glimpse of red in the crowd, and all at once the din hushes. The gas lamps become dim, and the crowd collectively turns to the back. A pixie of a girl steps into the light. A flapper! I can't believe my eyes. A flapper! Here, in this backwater! The village has certainly changed if it's attracting this sort of girl. I can tell from the crowd's expressions that there are mixed feelings about that too. She sets down her cigarette. From another corner I hear the crackle of a record being placed on a Victrola. Tinny notes fill the pub. They remind me of some songs I'd heard coming from the American camp while we waited for our boats home. There's a pause in the rhythm, and she begins her act. Her crystal voice and swaying dress break open the room. It's a song about dancing in the dunes out in the Orient under a crescent moon, and it's like nothing I've ever seen or heard. It's enchanting. Her red lips shine as she sparks and chirps her way through the tune, toying with the audience. She's a flirt, and a stunning one at that. They beckon Bulgaria over. Another pint, lad! Aye, and something extra. Send the flapper a whiskey grenadine. Extra cherries, on me. He laughs as he collects some empties. Enjoying the new entertainment, eh? Aye, she's been a hit with a lot of the regulars. Less so with the stodgy ones. One whiskey grenadine coming up. Mind, we've not had a batch of cherries come in since the damned U-boats moved in off the Hebrides, but I'll see what I can do for you and the fine lady. With a laugh, he spins away, and I find myself lost again in the flapper's exotic twirls. What a sight she is. Eventually, the performance comes to an end. One last pirouette, a tease of a curtsy, and the crowd bursts into hollers and applause. As she prepares the next dance, a few older fans press closer to this unusual creature. I can see the flapper's face fall all the way from here. Fortunately, Bulgaria pushes his way through, handing off the cocktail and whispering into her ear. She lights up, takes the drink, and starts sipping gingerly. Before I know it, she spied me and is walking my way. Do you like my hair, soldier? I just bobbed it. She touches the bottom of her short hairstyle. I don't know what or who a bob is, so I agree, since her hair looks lovely. I do. It's quite fetching. Fetching? You're in love, aren't you? Excuse me. Suppose so. Say. Hey. You first. Go ahead, ladies first. Thanks for the drink. You're welcome. Care to join me? I tap the seat next to mine. Flapper slides in next to me and downs the drink in two long, slow sips. She licks her lips. Thirsty, eh? You've time for another? Would love to, but old man Bulgaria doesn't give me much time for a break. She winks at the barkeep, who nods knowingly. I'm back on stage. The flapper bounces off to the floor as the Victrola starts up another tune. She sings, spins, and shimmies with her red bob bobbing. I finish up the second pint and decide against the third, as the memory of my promise to Hazel is already getting fuzzy. I work my way to the bar to settle my tab, but Bulgaria refuses payment. I earned it, he says. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silvermoon. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. If y'all want to get your names in the credits and get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5, alrighty? I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!